Being able to sell things online through something like an Etsy shop is really convenient, really handy, and I've really seen a lot of benefit from doing that over the years. However, sometimes things don't go quite the way you planned. I'm John Switzer. Welcome back to Black Bear Forge. In this instance, somehow I got my accounting off or my inventory numbers off, and somebody ordered a product. I went to pack it up last night and get it ready to ship today, and I didn't have it. Somewhere I had entered that I had an extra set of these barn door handles that I didn't actually have. Now, luckily for me, since I'm the one that makes those, I don't have to order them or get them in or figure out how to replace them. It just means that today I have to make a set of barn door handles. Now, the next problem I have is I don't have the material that I typically use for those. I prefer to make those out of 3/8 by 3/4 inch material, which would be 10 millimeter by 20 millimeter. What I do have is some 5/16 by 1, so it's probably more like 8 millimeter by 25 millimeter. And if I heat this up and run it through the power hammer, I can reduce it to that size, get the material I need, then I can make my door handles. So we're going to go ahead and start by reducing this down and reshaping it into the material we need. One of the real advantages of being a blacksmith. Without that ability, I'd be stuck ordering materials and I'd have to let my customer know that it's going to be a week, maybe more, before they get their product. But by being able to do that, I can still get these done today and out in the mail first thing tomorrow morning. And to do that quickly and efficiently, I'm going to heat the material in the gas forge so I get a nice long heat, and then draw it out under the power hammer. Now with that the size I want it, I can cut it to length, and instead of letting it cool and then sawing it, we'll just cut it out at the anvil. As long as we got heat, we might as well make use of it. I'm cutting these 14 inches long. Somebody's going to ask about this 2-foot folding ruler. I purchased this from Pay Tool. I don't know if they still have them or not, but they probably do. So I'm going to start the end of this with some half-face blows at the edge of the anvil. Again, half-face blows means the hammer's half on the anvil, half off, so you create a little shoulder there. Then I'm going to go to the peen and start spreading that. As I do this and spread it, I'm going to keep these corners knocked back in so I get that nice bean shape. I'm also going to reduce this at this end a little bit. Putting some taper in here just makes the handle more graceful. Knock the corners off so it's comfortable to hold on to. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other end. Now I have been working both of these alternately, so you may be seeing one step on one piece and the next step on the next piece. So if they aren't looking exactly the same every time, that would be the reason. And that's one of the advantages to the gas forge, is that I get to do that without worrying about burning something up. Much more efficient for production work. Although, as I've mentioned in the past, I don't turn the gas forge off for any other reason but recording videos so I don't have to shout over the noise of the gas forge. Kind of aiming for 2 inches wide on these, and that's what they are. Depending on how thin you're willing to get them, they can get quite wider than that. I just want to continue my rounding up and smoothing. I don't want to make it round, but right at the middle of the grip, nearly oval, wouldn't be a bad way to go. I just want to kind of give the impression that it's oval by really rounding those corners up. You could certainly work it down into a swedge. And if you had top and bottom swedges, it created the right profile. But oval would be easy. Now I'm going to let this cool so that I can do some layout for some chisel work. Now once these were cool, I went ahead and did a little bit of quick grinding on them to make sure there are no sharp edges. I wanted to be good and comfortable when people use the handles. Cleaned up the finial ends so they'll look the way I want them to look. They aren't all exactly the same, but I'm okay with that. That's part of the character that I want in something like this. Just depends on what you're going for. I want to put some chisel work in here. So I want to find the center point of these. Yep, that's centered. And What I'm going to do is, we've looked at it before, it's an X with a series of center punch marks in the X, and then this one will get two little lines off to the side. I just want to make sure that element is centered, so I'm going to lay it out cold with the X, and then I'm going to go back and clean it up hot. Easiest way to do that is going to be under the treadle hammer. I'm going to start just by laying out that center element. You can do pretty good just cold under the treadle hammer. But it'll look better and more dramatic if we then heat it up and finish it hot. This is just to establish things. By spinning it around instead of jumping from end to end, my perception stays more constant, and I find I get better results. I'm going to use a handheld center punch. I think I'm a little bit more accurate with this than using the one under the treadle hammer. If I want to deepen these later, I will certainly go back to the treadle hammer, because I'll be able to find these again hot. It's a pattern that I was originally shown by Darrell Nelson. I don't think it is unique to him. I've seen some old things that were done this way, but he referred to it as hugs and kisses, X's and O's. So now with this laid out cold, it's a fairly simple matter to come back and deepen these lines. Everything becomes more dramatic, much easier to see. If you're going to take the time to put a mark in there, you might as well make it deep enough that it shows. Now this center punch easily indexes. Now this one's a little off. I don't know if I can drive that over or not. A little bit. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and touch mark it. This will end up being on the bottom part of the handle. Unless they're installed with the touch mark upside down anyways. Which is always possible. Next thing we need to do is bend them up. So with the finial held securely in the vise, I'm going to then drive the handle forward and down, and I'm holding up with a pair of tongs that are probably, you can't see, but that keeps me from just bending it over. So I pull upwards the whole time with a pair of tongs. Maybe a little back and forth if these don't exactly match. And sometimes they twist a little bit, in which case just grab a twisting wrench. Bring everything back in line. And if you've kind of messed up that finial end and it's not flat, you can flatten that back out. And you need to see if it looks straight and even. They're not even, so the question is, do you want this side to come up or this side to go down? I want them about 1.5 inches off the door, so that means this is good. I need to take this one down just a little bit. Gonna get it real hot for this. I don't think it needs to be. Also make sure the pads are down the same. That looks a lot better to me, yeah. So that is our door handle. I'm going to go ahead and drill holes in there. We could punch them, but as thin as it is, it's easy to buckle that. Certainly doable, but I think I'd rather just drill holes for some square head bolts. Well, that's it for the barn door handles. I hope you folks stay safe, and we will see you for the next one.